What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Now today I fancied a little bit of a change up, so I'm going on r/AskReddit and finding the craziest answers to this question. What was the highest waste of money that you don't regret? What was the highest waste of money that you don't regret? My first paycheck, I bought a $900 wedding cake. Me and my brother had no way to get it home since it didn't fit on our skateboards. We just had a cake fight in the parking lots. My brother passed away shortly after that. I still think about that day whenever I'm sad. I got into a stupid fight with my brother, so I found a game he had pledged on Kickstarter, Space Haven, and saw that for $360 I could write a pre-made character bio that would randomly show up. So I pledged it and wrote a character bio with his name and made him a flaming butthole. I have never played this game and don't want to. That is brilliant. All I want to know is, has your brother got the game yet, and has he played as himself yet? Oh, actually, someone has asked, has he got the game yet? It's in alpha. I'm not sure that backer perk has been implemented. I do have to say though, being drunk, angry, and having access to a credit card has been how the majority of my poor decision stories start. Yeah, that's not that surprising. I've been a fat guy all my life. Like, really fat. Dressing comfortably was always my preference, because being stylish just isn't an option at my size. This was always a source of anxiety at any social event that required dressing up. When I realised I had 4 weddings of close friends all coming up within the year, I decided to bite the bullet and get some decent formal clothes. I spent $800 on a suit jacket, $250 on 2 pairs of dress pants, a little over $300 for 3 shirts, and 3 silk ties that were between $70 and $100 each. I stood for all my measurements and had everything tailored to my exact specifications. I did a fitting and had a second round of alterations on the pants so they actually looked decent, even though I wore them under my gut. People were floored when I showed up to the first wedding. I received so many compliments and actual double takes. Being introduced to new people felt completely different. I felt impressive. Some of those weddings were the best times of my life, and it was due, in no small part, to how those clothes looked and made me feel. Some of those friends have big pictures from their weddings hanging on their walls, and I don't cringe in embarrassment when I see myself in them. Those clothes cost more than I have ever spent on clothing in any 10-year period, and they were worth every penny. Well, to be honest, I'm not even sure I'd say that's a waste of money. That is a great way to spend a lot of money and feel amazing about yourself. GG. The summer after graduating high school, I won a decent amount of money playing online poker. Since I wasn't going off to college and all of my friends were, I decided to buy them all ridiculous going away gifts. A carpet, a mailbox, toilet seat, etc. were among the gifts. The most expensive and ridiculous gift I bought on a whim was a massive wheel of cheese, somewhere between $200 to $300. Little did I know at the time, that cheese wheel would set off a yearly event called Cheese Giving, where our entire, much larger now with spouses and kids, friend group gets together to celebrate and partake in cheesy goodness. This year was our 17th, unfortunately all virtual due to COVID, and I genuinely hope it never ends. What? So this is... Wait, sorry. You started pretty much a new tradition by spending some money on some cheese. Incredible. My friend spent $30 on a jukebox to play I Whip My Hair Back and Forth on loop for an hour in a bar. The bartender actually unplugged the machine. Oh god. Well, was it worth it? Maybe? I bought the $350 Lego Ghostbusters Firehouse 5 years ago. I was a huge Lego kid in the 1980s and loved Ghostbusters. When they announced the set, I told my wife that I was buying it. Ridiculous expense be danged. It is set up in my home office and will never come down. And here's a little picture of it actually. I mean, yeah, it looks pretty cool to be fair. I don't know if I would spend $350 on it myself, but I guess if you're into Lego, yeah, pretty nice. I spent $56,000 on college for a degree I don't use. But I met my husband there, so I really can't complain. If I divide that over the nearly 25 years we've been married and consider that he's the best of dudes, it is a pretty good deal. Not gonna lie guys, I'm in a similar boat here. You know, I went to university and paid a lot of money and I don't use my degree as it stands, but you know, it's worth it. You don't go to university or college just for the degree, you go for the experience as well and the people you meet, so I can totally back this from OP. When my mum was diagnosed with cancer, a year after my dad died unexpectedly from cancer as well, I went to the animal aid thrift shop, bought a bunch of odd dishes, put down a drop cloth, and threw them at my house while screaming bloody murder. I don't regret 1 second of that temper tantrum or one dime I spent to make it happen. I eventually made a couple of beautiful mosaics out of the pieces, and my mum is 6 months cancer-free. Due to poor insulation and distance from the water heater, my shower is never properly warm in winter. I just bought a single endpoint tankless water heater for just my shower. The best $150 I ever spent. Could I really afford it? No. Did I need it? No. Do I love it? You bet your sweet bippy I do. Well, then it was worth it. To be fair, the idea of a constantly cold shower in winter of all times? Nah, I would spend any money to have a warm shower, Jesus. Back in high school, I was about to go on my first ever date, and I made extra money to make sure I had enough. Around $600 I had. But the day before our date, she gave me a letter, and she basically broke up with me. Being a teenager, I had no control over my emotions, as being brought up in my family would say guys shouldn't cry over anything, but I just had no way to process it. So, after school, I went to 7-Eleven, bought 2 large Slurpees, 6 hot dogs, and got a prepaid card, and bought a bunch of NECA action figures. I actually had a good weekend because I honestly splurged that money and got into action figure collecting as well as practicing stop motion, which ended up helping me to pursue an animation career, and I'm about to finish and I'm ready to apply to stop motion studios. That's crazy. So pretty much your most impulsive buy has actually shaped your life. That's pretty incredible. I got $27,000 and spent it on a solo cross-country road trip that led to me moving onto the complete opposite side of the country, away from everyone I've ever known. I was in a dark place in my head. The original plan was to find a nice place to end my story, but the trip itself helped me reconsider, so I've got absolutely no regrets to speak of. Wow, that is incredible. Yeah, I mean, any amount of money you would pay to have that sort of experience and turn your life around, insane. I spent $300 on a mule, an actual living, 4-hooved, long-eared mule. We raise cattle, so a protection mule was a good excuse. But really, I just fell in love with him. He's huge and sassy. He'll steal your hat and run away. He's got a ninja mode where he can sneak up on you just to breathe down your neck or startle you. He does keep the coyotes away. However, he has proved himself priceless because he eats thistle. When we got the lease on the land for our cattle, the pastures had been neglected and were in bad shape. Thistle is a spiky plant that spreads across the pasture, choking out grasses. Cows won't eat it, it's really hard to get rid of, but to our surprise, the mule cleared out nearly all the thistle in a matter of months. He would eat the flowers out of the centre. He saved us an enormous amount of money and labour. We were able to avoid using chemical weed killers, which we really didn't want to do. Probably the best investment in our whole cattle racing experience. Dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant in Milan. We had an 18-course meal with wine pairings for like $400 or so. Sorry, an 18-course meal. What? I didn't even know that existed. That is, wow. The Lego Death Star. Yeah, okay, plain and simple. Wow, I guess if you're into Lego, yeah, spend away. This may not seem like a lot of money to some, but I weighed 287 pounds. I lost 100 pounds, and my reward was a $300 pair of Fry boots. I'd been drooling over them for years, and finally scrimped and saved to buy them. I told my husband it was my food money, but it was actually my cigarette money. I'd quit smoking a year before that, but still faithfully put away $7 a day. I figured that I could always find cigarette money when I smoked, so I would keep finding it to save. I bought a Nintendo Wii that way too. I have never regretted using those boots. I love them. To be fair, that is of course one of the main reasons why smoking is really bad for you. It's not just the obvious health effects, but also the fact that it costs a lot of money that is better spent on fun things like this. I spent $3,000 for my wife to meet the Backstreet Boys and get front row seats. It is the best thing that has ever happened to her, and the smile on her face after the show and look of pure bliss in someone who suffers often from anxiety was worth every cent. Now that is wholesome. Back in 2017, my family went on a road trip to Minnesota to visit my nana shortly before she passed. During our stay, me and my little sister went to the Mall of America and bought whatever the F we wanted. Big ice cream cones, Lego store souvenirs, tickets to the aquarium, the fare for every indoor amusement park ride, a doll from the American Girl store, and eating an expensive lunch in the store with your new doll sitting at the table with you. F yeah, little sis, it's all yours. I dropped over $300 in that one mall trip, but dang was it one of the best shopping days ever. We still talk about it to this day. When I was younger, I came into a sum of about $15,000. I wasn't very careful with the money, and other than putting $5,000 down on a car, I blew the money here and there. But what I put the largest amount towards were friends in need. I paid one friend's power bill just before it got shut off. I helped another friend keep her water on. I never could keep my hands on money for long, but I don't regret having wasted it helping friends. No, I agree, OP, that's not wasting it at all. That is surely using it in the best way possible to help people you care about. I just bought a treadmill. There is a perfectly good street outside I could run on, or I could pay for a gym membership for years and years, but now I can get a run in during my daughter's nap time, or when it's cold, or when I only have 30 minutes free and driving to and from the gym would eat up half of my time. I certainly could have made it work without this expense, but I really love it. I spent $9,000 on a hot tub and its installation. I use it probably 2 times a day though, and for those 30 to 40 minutes, I am almost completely pain-free, sometimes bordering on euphoria. Wow, 2 times a day and it gets rid of all your pain? That is worth $90,000, let alone $9,000, insane. I spent $5,000 I barely had for emergency surgery for my dying dog, knowing that the outcome was likely to be his death regardless. He still died. I would do it again. He was my best friend and I know I did everything humanly possible to help him. A quick 7-day trip to Maui in February a couple years ago with one of my teenage daughters, who happened to be free the same week I had off. Work was grinding me down and I needed a break. My wife and the rest of the family couldn't go. They were working or in school. The tickets were expensive, $850 each for bare bones economy, narrow rock hard seats. It was a 12-hour flight that was packed to the brim. I was getting bed sores by the time we arrived. We rented snorkeling gear and a car and spent every day from dawn to dusk snorkeling, sitting on the beaches and hiking in the mountains. We did the Hana Road, the 7 sacred pools, and the Haleakala Volcano National Park at sunset, and took tons of photos. Wow, what incredible pronunciation from me. We ate spam musubi for breakfast, poke and somen noodles for lunch, and lokomoko for supper. We slept like babies with the windows open wide in the cool nighttime breeze. It was the best way to blow $5,000 ever. It was so much what I needed at that point in my life. Again, in my opinion, that's not really a waste of money. It sounds like an amazing time. Like, imagine it from your daughter's perspective. She's going to remember that trip for the rest of her life. Incredible scenes. Anyway guys, that is going to do it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. A little bit of a switch up, but you know, I wanted to try something different. And yeah, if you did like it, then drop a like on this video and I will do more videos covering this subreddit. I actually think that I have done a video on r/AskReddit before, but I genuinely think it was about 1.5 years ago. So if you can remember that, then you're a legend. And if you want to watch it and I'm right in my thinking, then it's on screen right now. So I guess go ahead, click that if you want to watch more from this subreddit from a long time ago and see me in my infant state. Let's be realistic. If you are new to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well to stay up to date with my daily Reddit videos. And yeah, that's all really. I will see you guys tomorrow with a brand new uploads.